Good afternoon from New York City, and good evening to all you joining from Europe. Welcome to the European Month of Culture, Origin Theatre Company's European Month of Culture, in partnership with the EU delegation to the US. My name is Erwin Maas. I am the Director of Programming for Origin Theatre Company and one of the co-curators for European Month of Culture. This month, we have been celebrating playwrights from Romania, Ireland, the Nordic countries, Greece and Lithuania, and today from Spain, in partnership with the Estreno Contemporary Spanish Plays. After this reading, we'll have a short Q&A. We have the playwright, the translator, and the director with us. So we will do a short Q&A with them and the actors and the photographer. So please stay with us after the reading so you can ask questions and hear more about how this play came to be. But without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to the actors. Please enjoy White on White.
The blinding light of a window, a fuzzy portal. The first thing we see when we're born. White light, white as the heaven we move around in. Light. Without my consent, you carelessly hit me in the eyes, blinding me, screaming out that now you are here. They hurt, my eyes hurt, and yet I want you. Do you want me to? If it weren't for your caresses, my body would be translucent. Tell me, light, has the ice gotten here yet? Yes, it's come late again, but it's here now. I can hear its joyous silence, its mute and magnificent presence. I feel it. It feels proud to have been formed again, sheet over sheet, step by step, till it completely covers the sea that surrounds this island. The air tells me that autumn is just over and a new winter is about to begin. The air tells me something else. Have you come with the ice? Yes, you've come with it, but you're not part of it. You're not another sheet of ice. You don't share the vastness. Who are you? I can't see you, but you can see me. I can smell your gaze in the air, your musk of curiosity, and your fear when you look straight at me. Distance protects you. Distance protects me too. how strange it is to look at one another without seeing each other. Is that why you've come? To look at me without me seeing you? What kind of encounter do you propose? Now what? You've caught a glimpse of me already. What else do you expect? I don't have any bear cubs to show you.
Come on, let them come out. I won't hurt them. You can't see me, but you can smell me. You know I'm hidden somewhere on the horizon. Distance protects you. Distance protects me too. You can't see me because the sun is shining directly in your eyes and it's hiding me. But you know I'm here. Come on, let them come out.
I've told you I don't have any bear cubs to show you. Not anymore. If that's what you've come to see, you'll have to look for another den. This slope is full of mothers that can show them off to you proudly.
Are you abandoning your cubs? Why? You don't have any. Is that it? You don't have any cubs. So what are you doing on this slope, teeming with mothers, if you aren't one?
The world you know is very far away. Your opinions are worthless here.
It wasn't enough. I never imagined my first encounter with a polar bear in the wild would be like this. Too brief, too fleeting, too much distance between us. It was as if we looked at one another without seeing each other. Mr. Dimitri, my name is Carla. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I was granted residency at this station. I'm going to stay here for a year to make a documentary. Didn't they inform you? I brought government permits and a letter from the Scientific Society and another one from your country's embassy and several documents that need your signature. I researched all the Arctic stations before choosing the one I'll go to. You've been researching meteorology at this station for more than 20 years, and before that, you spent 10 years working in Cuba. I know you understand my language.
Go away.
What?
Don't you understand your language? Go away.
No.
This is not your place.
It's not yours either. We're only passing through here. Me for a year, you 20.
You don't need a year. Take your camera and shoot white cardboard for a while, then go back where you came from.
I didn't travel halfway around the planet to shoot a white cardboard that lacks contrast.
You're very far away from everything you know.
The further away you go, the more there is to discover. Don't you think so? I said no. Every time you say that, I will repeat the same answer. Anyway, it's not up to you to allow me to stay. Have papers.
Papers, Governor. Papers. You want papers.
I don't understand you.
Go outside and do your job. Find your contrast quickly and get out of here.
I'm not in a rush to find it. So which one is my bedroom? Don't tell me there isn't a room. I'd like to remind you that I've researched all the articles.
Yeah, you already said that.
I know there are 2 bedrooms, and one is reserved for projects like mine.
No project ever came here.
You've been here all alone for 20 years.
Not enough time.
I won't bother you.
You're like a bad cup of coffee.
Too dark? It doesn't matter. Is that the door?
No, that's my office.
So it must be the other one. Thanks.
The bears will come.
What?
Hunger will lead them all the way here. And don't you ever forget this. Never, ever give them food. You understand?
Yes. You have to sign some papers.
Over there. Like a bad cup of coffee.
You're back again. I can smell you. Why? Does it gnaw away at you to have no answers? Is that it? Do you really want to know why I'm all alone in my den? I don't know if it makes any sense telling you about it. I don't know if it makes any sense talking about the past. I don't know. It's a waste of time and energy. I'd rather focus on resolving the present. I'd also rather focus on avoiding the future. Oh, I don't know. It's a waste of time. Perhaps you need to know my past to understand my present. You humans have such an odd way of reasoning. Telling you what happened doesn't change what's happening. I'm not used to telling stories. I walk alone. I've learned to listen carefully to what happens every day so I don't have to remember it.
Well, let's see what interesting things you're hiding.
So stressful to speak with words. Can't we just look at each other?
I don't want white cardboards. Give me something. Like, come on, move around. Don't just stand there.
What happened was winter. There's nothing more challenging than teaching your bear cub. Don't you agree? I had to do it first before he could learn it, but he always interrupted me before I could finish. I could smell seals hidden in air pockets 3 feet below the ground without them ever sensing my presence. But they could hear my little one's footsteps long before we got there. Failure. Failure. Failure again. Sometimes it seems that that's what we teach, but it isn't. What we teach is to persist without anyone's help. Do your males also abandon you after mating? My little one, you have to learn before the ice disappears. Hurry up, because it's quick and it won't wait for you. It comes and goes in the blink of an eye. It doesn't wait ever for anyone. They come out of here and we'd love to put them back in there when things go wrong, but we don't become bears inside our mother's bodies. We're polar bears because we move fearlessly through this other frozen white belly that spreads wide beneath our paws. I stopped, far from any shelter. Why? Because my son didn't have the strength to go on. I understood what was happening. I understand the present. Nothing could be done. Nothing but stay by his side and give him what little body heat I could. I smelled foxes. They were all ready to pounce. I scanned the area. I sniffed. They were there. They're the diners of this main course. And then my little one's first seizure came. He endured the first attack. He fought back stunned. He wasn't a strong bear cub, but he was a fearless bear cub. But that wasn't enough. Hunger was devouring him from the inside, and the first bites were the fiercest. Second seizure. He looked at me. I looked at him. He didn't understand. I understand everything, but I didn't have enough time to explain to him. It's as if all the waves of the sea crashed against all the rocks all at once, without waiting their turn, without an instant between them, piling up on his body. A blizzard of seizures took over all his muscles, and there was nothing I could do to stop them. I laid on top of him. I wrapped my body around him, and I took in all his cries. I closed my eyes and asked him to do it with me. He did. He's a good son. He's always done everything I told him to do. Our eyelids closed. The darkness calmed us and transported us to the inner den where we were born. Go there, my little one. Mummy will watch out for the foxes so they don't come near. Go there calmly. Don't fight it anymore. Don't fight, bear cub. Brave bears like you aren't afraid. Silence lies down with us and waits. Have you ever seen someone starve to death?
What's all this about? I've never seen that before. You don't act like other polar bears. I like that. I don't act like other women either.
It's not quick.
Is that why you're on this slope? Because you're different? Maybe I'm here for the same reason.
Seizures could last for hours until his heart gave out. Hours of struggle, hours and hours of leaping into the void without crashing into the ground. Have you ever felt prolonged pain? No? No.
I'm different. I found that out when I left my country and I didn't shed a tear about it.
I could have eaten his body. That would have kept me going for a few weeks.
I packed my pain away. I hid it inside my belly.
But I didn't do it. I left him there. The scavenging foxes devoured him before the snow ever got to cover him all the way.
And now I bring it along to this land of ice where maybe I will find a place to leave it behind. What am I doing? You're the protagonist of this documentary.
They swallowed up his body. I swallowed up the hole he left in my lap.
Show me how different you are. Have you understood anything I've asked for of you?
Have you understood anything I've told you?
A distant gunshot interrupts. Nanwa is alarmed and leaves. Nanwa doesn't like gunshots.
The routine is there in front of me, just like the next step. I never know when you're going to come, but that's not a reason why you're going to stop coming around.
Have you been shooting all morning?
Gee, Cafe, I thought you'd left.
My name is not Cafe. I'm not leaving, and you haven't answered my question.
You come here just to ask questions with obvious answers?
Why were you shooting?
Because they'll come. I already told you that.
The bears?
No, the infomercials.
They didn't even come close by.
Just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not close by.
Have you ever killed a bear?
What is this? An interrogation? You said you wouldn't bother me.
Sorry, look, I didn't mean to bother you. I'm only gathering information for my documentary.
Well, I'm not part of your documentary.
Today I filmed a bear by the hillside.
Congratulations. Are you satisfied with that?
What do you mean?
Are you going to film a bear that tumbles around in the snow as if she's dancing a clumsy waltz? Or are you going to stop long enough to learn about her? Are you silent because you don't have an answer or because you don't understand the question?
I understand you perfectly.
Good. So are you going to repeat what others have done already, the same old thing you find when you turn on your television, or are you going to do something else?
No.
No what?
I'm going to do something different.
And how are you going to make it different?
I already told you. I'm not looking for something without a contrast.
Yes. Yes. You and your contrast. And what exactly is the contrast here? Turning that bear into an adorable 300-pound stuffed animal. That's not a contrast, is it?
No.
Don't be arrogant, whoever is going to see your work.
Thanks for the tip.
It's not a tip. I want to make sure you don't use my station to create one more tearjerker story.
Do you always drink coffee?
I'm not part of your documentary. Jag tror you might.
Outside, the blizzard roars.
I can't go out today either. For weeks on end, the blizzards have been so strong, unrelenting, that I can't even look out the door of the station. I wonder if the bear I filmed during my first days here is still stuck on the same slope. I'm stuck here, inside a cage, surrounded by ice. The sunlight, its warmth on my skin, I think that's what I miss the most. Dimitri, well, I know he's still in here because once or twice a day he leaves his office and prepares a pot of coffee. The aroma of coffee permeates everything for hours. How interesting it would be if you could smell documentaries. This is the only fragment of Guinea I've brought here. Everything I've ever loved is in here, and it travels with me wherever I go. Here's the present, there's the past. It's strange how geographies can blend together without knowing it, or how different moments in time can blend without wanting to. I never thought this would be the place where I'd hear myself again. Just like I never thought that finding you would force me to search for myself. It's not this notebook. It's not me. It's your gaze in the distance, the fear and trust I have for you. Your space, your world. I'd really like to show you mine, but it's cruel. The place I come from, a hell riddled with rivers of blood. A woman only leaves her world when she understands that she cannot change it. We tell ourselves that we are our world, but it's not the same. Don't you agree? This cage is driving me crazy. Sometimes I think about waiting for that grouch by the coffee pot, just so he can tell me to F off. 20 years he's been respecting this room without ever using it. Ready to receive someone. I think I'm going to knock on his door. No, that's not it. What I need is to leave this place. And I need to see you.
A constant wind hammers the sin. Carla's at the modest slope, but she doesn't find Nanwa.
Where are you?
Carla searches for Nanwa first with her eyes and then through that of the camera lens. She looks in all directions.
Shit, where are you?
The winds get stronger.
Damn, I'm not going to film anything.
Cloudiness, alticumulus visibility temperature, a relative humidity, constant wind. Blizzard. Have you ever been in a blizzard cafe?
You don't know how to feel the wind change in your nose. You don't know how to listen to the ice you walk on either, much less smell my presence. You don't know how to see through the blizzard because you don't know how to find a point of reference. You don't know anything. And yet, you rush to conquer it all. Yours is a strange breed, always rushing. Is that all you could come up with? Bend over and stay put on the ground. Now, you're vulnerable, you know that. Fear accelerates your blood flow. I can feel the heat your blood gives off as it runs through your body. I smell your flesh underneath all those artificial layers you wear. It is young meat, appetizing, maybe without much fat. It won't taste very good, but you have to eat, and I am hungry. You are very far from everything you know. Believe me, I don't get such easy opportunities. This is how things work around here. It's nothing personal. It's either you or me.
Nanwa has been getting closer until she is right next to Carla. At that moment, Carla raises her head, tries to look in all directions, but cannot see anything, and ducks down again.
You are the color of my nose. I didn't know another skin color existed. We are not white, our skin is black. It's covered by this layer of translucent hollow hair that invites light to weave an everlasting winter costume. But we are not white. We're black, like you. And we always have our nose in front of us to remind us. Have they removed a layer of white off you? Suddenly I feel as if you were my sister. I can't do it. Go away. You have to follow in the same direction in front of you, straight ahead without deviating. If you do, you will get to where the man who shoots his shotgun lives. Go away. Go. Go away. Don't you understand me? Go straight ahead and don't stray. Go straight ahead. Yours is a strange breed.
Why didn't you come out and look for me?
I didn't hear you knocking on the door.
You could have at least put a light on or shoot so I could hear the sound of the gunshot.
I was busy.
Busy.
Precisely.
Making paper dolls.
It's origami.
Origami.
Precisely.
To hell with your origami. A human life is out there. Can't you, your hermit crab brain, understand this?
This is not your place.
What?
I want you to leave.
You want me to leave? And that's why you left me out there to die. Don't you want me to be here?
Are you dead?
What?
I insulted you. I made you doubt your work. I ignored you for weeks. But here you are, still here. You bother me. It bothers me to hear your voice talking to your camera in the other room. It bothers me to sense you waiting next to the coffee pot for me to get a coffee. It bothers me to be stuck in here making my designs just to avoid your curiosity. I've tried everything, but it was you who rushed in. The blizzard was a good opportunity. Believe me, I couldn't think of anything else. You're very far away from everything you know. This is how things work out in here. It's nothing personal.
Nothing personal. Nothing personal. You're insane, you old psychopath.
Do you want me to help you pack your things, Cafe?
Ah!
What a restrained genocide.
The blizzard passed by days ago. Why don't you come back? Where are you? Can you see me through this glass eye? Can you hear me? Where are you? Maybe if I tell you something, will you come back? Is that what you want? Yesterday, I went out hunting. I do it every day, even if I don't catch anything. But yesterday, I managed to catch a seal. I spent time studying the area. I made a plan. I created a decoy of calm. I kept silent. I hid my scent. I broke the ice. I used up my strength. I used up my strength. I did it. And he came and took my prey away. A male. As if I were invisible. As if I weren't there. He took it out from under my claws as if it were nothing. As if it were him. He only has to growl at me, and I'm shoved several feet away. With his strength, he could hunt 2 seals at a time, but no. He did what he knows best. Wait for me to do it. Yes, they know how to do that very well. And me. I'm invisible. Are you also invisible? We females have to start all over again. What do you do? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Are you coming back?
Who's that?
Tense paper. It's for professional use with a specific weight.
I know all about that paper.
Then you must also know how hard it is to get.
Since when we have become so friendly with one another?
These are different times.
What game are you playing, Cafe?
I'm not playing anything. I'm getting proof. My mother always told me, get proof that you aren't on the same level as those who reject you. She was referring to those who rejected me because of the color of my skin. Then I discovered that she was also referring to those who rejected me because I was a woman. And though I'm young, life has taught me that there is no end to the number of rejections. Get proof and don't stop. I haven't finished what I came here to do. That's the only reason I've come back. I'll be here for a while and I'll leave. I'll probably never come back. How you deal with the time we have together is your personal choice that will not interfere with my work. Rejection is optional.
That the bear you were filming? Answer! Is that the bear?
I don't know. I couldn't see her well.
You give her food?
What?
Have you left ever some food within her reach?
No. How did it ever occur to you to come here? Are you crazy? How did it ever occur to me to come here? Am I crazy?
Nanua plays with Carla's camera, rolling around on the ground and hitting it with her paws while humming a rhythmless waltz. Her body has thinned slightly, worries. Carla enters.
Stop it already. You look like a stuffed animal rolling around in the snow. I need you to give me back my camera. Are you thinner? You're thinner.
You smell different. More confident, perhaps.
Have you eaten?
Why have you come back? Because I called you? Or was it because the man who fires his shotgun? It doesn't matter. What did you come back for?
How long has it been since you've eaten?
Why don't you dare tell me?
Maybe this is what I came for.
Tell me, what did you come back for?
To see how you're wasting away.
Well, that can't make things any worse.
The winds hammer away.
I'm not sure if I should be so arrogant.
Do you want to listen to a memory? My mother saved me. By casting me from her side, she saved us both. We cannot walk together. There's not enough food for both of us. The ice disappears quickly and there are hardly any seals to catch. Separately, we'll both have a chance. If we stay together, this fruitless search will wipe us both out at the same time. We are white shapes that move in parallel directions, very close. So much so that they are mistaken for one another. But we are not the same. It is time to separate. It is time for you to leave and fight to stay alive. I'll take everything I know, make it yours and turn it into what you've learned. Go. Go before my instinct forgets you're my daughter and it will want to attack you to fill my belly with your flesh. Get away. Start your search and stay alive, always. Even though the self-interest of everything that surrounds us gets in your way. Get out of here. Go, now.
The winds hammer away stronger.
This is my world. It takes time to perfect. And for you, just a second to undo. I do not know if allowing you to look at me can change that. I have no tools to measure it. But I feel that you're different, that you stand in contrast with the rest of them. For that alone, it's worth trying. Take back your glass eye and take everything I know. And yes, I am thinner.
I have it.
What do you have?
I know what I have come to do.
I thought you were back because you knew what you wanted to do.
Finish what I started, but I didn't know what needed to be finished.
One characteristic that we share as species is that we tend to waste other people's time with our shoddy philosophies.
A characteristic shared by men your age when they talk to women of mine is arrogance, aloof, heartilism. Are you being patronizing?
No. And you?
What?
Are you wasting my time?
No.
Good. I now have one thing clear. You think you're not making me waste my time when in reality you are. I'll be in my office contemplating the relativity of time.
I'm going to document Cloud's death by starvation.
Cloud?
You've given the bear a name?
I've just told you I'm going to document her death, and all you're concerned about is that I'm giving her a name.
Death is a possession. The name is only an involuntary accessory.
Well, I need a name for the protagonist of the story.
Is documentary a story?
I need it to be. That makes it easier for the public to empathize.
Empathize?
Yes.
The public is not going to empathize. Even if you put a block of ice under their genitals while they're sitting on their sofa watching your documentary. You don't do it to empathize. You do it to possess her. Like someone who names their dog or cat. They don't do it to make them part of the family. Rather, they do it to be able to say to them, hey, you're mine because I've given you a name. You're my cat. You're my dog.
We polar bears name others based on what they do.
You can be a real bastard. Has anyone ever told you that?
Thus he is called man who fires his shotgun, or also man who drinks dirty milk.
There's nobody around here. You must be the first. I can live with that.
And she is called woman who looks through a glass eye, or woman who hides in the horizon.
You know, sometimes I think that fate created this island with the sole purpose of leaving you here alone and isolating you from the rest of humanity.
And sometimes woman who fights against doubts, certainties, and other labyrinths.
Blessed destiny. Thank you for ridding me of humanity.
You are.
We are. You, me, and the rest of the world, the masters of the world, just like the dinosaurs were before us. Have you seen many dinosaurs around here?
Do you do shoddy demagoguery?
At least give it the name that's used for polar bears.
What name?
Nanook, or any of its variations. Nanok, Nanua, Nanu.
I like Nanwa.
Nanwa is fine. Thanks, Dimitri.
Nanwa. I like it better than bear that loses weight.
Yes, it will be the best. Have a lot of work.
Carla, one time is not enough. Remember that. Patronizing man who drinks coffee and fires his shotgun. Too long.
The color white can't be confused with any other color. The color white can only be white. You can't appreciate the color white on the same white color. And yet, there it is. White on white. Confusing the canvas with the stroke, the element with its context, the footprint with the path. It needs a contrast, perhaps its own look or voice that distinguishes it from itself. Without a doubt, it also takes some extra effort from the person standing in front of it to make sure they stop to observe and listen attentively. And when they get it, will it have any impact? Will something change? I can't stop and think that. I don't even know if I have the tools to measure it. How am I going to measure that? No, it can't be measured. All I know is that it's not going to contrast all by itself.
Carla makes the last fold to her origami figure. She doesn't like how it looks.
This is so hard.
Carla crumples her origami figure and throws it away. Just as she's about to leave, she stops short. She looks for her notebook, picks up the discarded paper figure, and safeguards it between its pages.
Carthago de lenda est. Carthage must be destroyed. It's not what we do. It's not what we say either. The important thing, the really important thing, is what it seems. It doesn't take much effort. All you need is to offer the public an image tied to a concept. Repeatedly, of course. Once, twice, over and over again, and as many times as are necessary until the public becomes familiar with the image, accepts it, and internalizes it. The image becomes a concept, and the concept loses its meaning. Now, we can tack that image onto anything, and nobody will wonder or analyze a thing. The thing, that thing, will also become familiar, accepted, and internalized. Now, with the added value that having that makes us feel like we're in solidarity and makes us remain loyal to the concept, even if we no longer remember the meaning of it. The important thing is appearances. You know, the important thing is appearances. Yeah, that's all we need to continue living huddled in our comfortable lies. Make it all appear to be. As a child, I admired men who knew when the rains would return or the cold would end. If someone asked them, they'd get really quiet, gaze up fleetingly at the sky and in the four directions of the wind, and give a definite answer. Then they'd go on with their conversation as if they didn't give a damn about their extraordinary talent. I didn't want to learn. I just wanted to be like them. It I'd stand in front of the other kids, look up at the sky, frown, and pause. Then I'd glance north, south, east, and west, silently. I'd press my lips flatly. It's going to rain tomorrow. The other kids believed me to such a degree that over time they'd be the ones standing in front of me. It's going to rain tomorrow. It's... I got it wrong so many times, many more times than I got it right. And yet, they kept on asking me. The important thing is appearances. I also think that Carthage should be destroyed.
A much thinner Nanua searches desperately for food here and there. A loud crack is heard. Part of the white sides of the states dangle and disappear. Nanua is scared. Nanua doesn't like cracking ice.
Did you feel that? Calm. Did you feel that? It's too early. Didn't you hear that? Didn't you see that? Why aren't you answering? Where are you focusing your attention? You have eyes, ears, skin, and still you're not able to perceive what's changing all around you. I don't understand it. Sometimes I think, sometimes I believe you yourselves are splintering this temple of ice to shreds. What are you doing? Stop! Stop. Stop, you stupid race. Blind eyes, deaf ears, and skin detached from this world. How could you have let it get so far? And you're the intelligent race. Good for nothing foxes. May the future not force you to ask yourselves why you didn't do anything. The seasons slip away and the declawed winter cannot hold on. Howl as you slide away scared. I'll stay put right here until the sun melts away the last chunk of ice. Right here. I'm getting smaller without trying, at a relentless and insolent pace. I have to find food, even though each step consumes the energy I don't have.
Nanua gets up. The sound of 3 gunshots. Nanua stops and turns to look in the direction of the sound.
Everything changes in the blink of an eye.
Sometimes I dream of the 2 of you. Maybe because you're the only living beings I meet up with in this frozen wasteland. I like to dream of the 2 of you together.
I once had a partner, Hitoshi. We were the only inhabitants of this island after the bear colonies left. He was Japanese. We were together for a few years until his nation's government decided that investing money in studying the climate was not profitable, or at least that's what they said. Perhaps they no longer needed to project an image of concern about climate change to the world. He taught me how to shape the paper. We spent hours, long hours in silence, listening to the intricacy of our fingers tensing each fold. Occasionally, we spoke in parallel words without understanding each other, and yet we were both talking about the same thing. A life on the outskirts of the map, where those who do not want to be anywhere find themselves.
I once saved a beluga whale. They usually come in the spring, under the ice, and look for cracks to pop up their heads and breathe. She miscalculated and remained under an ice sheet. She hit it over and over with her head, but couldn't break it. I saw her. She was right in front of me. I got up on my hind legs and I dropped down with all my might on the ice. I broke it as if it had been hit by one of your ships. She stuck her head out, breathing hard over and over again until she calmed down. Then she thanked me. I nailed my claws into her head and pulled her up with all my strength until she was out of the water. "Why are you attacking me now?" she said. "What do you think I was waiting for over here?" I replied. "Are you going to teach her to make paper figures?"
I don't know. Would you like to dance a waltz with me?
Why not? My cup has always been half empty.
Three back-to-back gunshots ring out. Light show as Dimitri wobbling around, drunk with a shotgun in one hand and a bottle of rum in the other, while standing on the outside porch of the Arctic station. He's laughing out loud.
No. It can't be confused with any other color. It can only be. White on white is not appreciated. No, it's not appreciated, Café. Governor! But it's there. Of course it's there. The bastard is always everywhere. Wherever you look, everything is white. White on white, Governor. The canvas and all that bullshit. You need more contrast? Do you want me to fire my shotgun again to break this revolting silence? Once it's not enough. Once it's not enough. Once it's not enough.
You're drunk.
What did you say?
You're drunk.
You know what I am.
Put the gun down.
Tell me. You know what I am.
Someone who's had too much to drink. Put it down.
I am a Russian who drinks Cuban rum. Not vodka. Rum.
Please, just let go of the gun.
You know what that makes me? A communist with a good taste. It's a joke! Don't you have a sense of humor?
I'm afraid.
Afraid? Oh, yeah, the shotgun. Put it down, Governor. Why?
It's dangerous. Just let go of it.
Dangerous? No, I'm not. Are you being how do you say when someone talks to you like a daughter who's trying to teach her father a lesson? Isn't there a word for that? It should be a word for that, don't you think?
Dimitri takes another swig from the bottle. Carla approaches him decisively and takes his shotgun away. She puts it aside.
Yeah, it's better over there.
Dimitri takes another swig from the bottle. Carla grabs it out of his clutches and throws it as far away as she can.
Hey! Hey there, where is your empathy?
Making ice blocks for genitals?
Whoa. You're a fast learner.
Let's go inside. I'll make a pot of coffee.
Have you heard the ships?
What ships?
No? You haven't heard or seen them? But they're there. The ships take advantage of the thinness of the ice as the time of year to break it up. Yeah, they break it up with the same ease with which you and I tear a piece of paper. You know what for? No? To open a faster route between East and West. All countries want to be faster. They all want their things to arrive earlier. Do you know what happens? That accelerates the tour even more. Oh, yeah, I don't want to scare you. Relax. We have the Arctic Council's protection. Oh, wait a minute. Those ships belong to the very same countries that are on the council. You hear them now?
No.
Ships, I mean. Do you see them?
No.
You're fucked up.
You're effed up.
Yes. The man who fires his shotgun is fucked up because he knows a lot of things that the rest of the world doesn't want to know.
You're going to freeze out here.
Appearances are all that matter.
Well, I'm going inside to have a cup of coffee.
Dimitri is fucked up. One time is not enough. Right, Hitoshi? You told me that. Paper doesn't know that it's paper. That's why it behaves like people. It always refuses to bend its unawareness and transform itself into something else.
The sound of ships breaking up the ice reverberates in the dark space. Spotlight on Nanua. She's severely thinner and moves restlessly from side to side like a caged beast. Nanua does not like ships.
I don't like ships. I don't like them. They break up the ice just as easily as leaving a footprint in the snow. I don't like them. It's thin, but it could last a bit longer. Just long enough to hold my weight and let me look for food. I don't like them. I don't like ships.
The folding has to be more uniform.
All right.
Doing. It seems like they're drawing blood from the world. Why do you have to put your nose into everything? I don't get it. I don't get it.
That waltz you hum from time to time.
I'm not part of your documentary. Concentrate.
Why did you leave Cuba? And why didn't you go back to your country? I swear I won't use it in my documentary.
I believe in revolution, not in people.
Time's almost up for me in the ice. The Fox Council is already meeting to divvy up my body.
Why are you by yourself? No documentary filmmaker works on a project alone. Didn't anyone want to come with you, or was it you who didn't want anyone to come?
I have to go out and film. I haven't had a glimpse of Namwa in days.
It hurts to ask yourself if you believe in people.
I wanted to see you.
You're very thin.
I need you to promise me something.
You don't even look like yourself.
Promise me that you will not stick your nose into this. Promise me you won't touch me. Promise me. Promise me.
Darkness. The strong aroma of coffee spreads throughout the air as the accompanying sounds of hands thumping on an empty belly foreshadow the upcoming action. Nanua is sitting and thumping on her belly with her paws.
I could smell it from anywhere. There's no wind capable of erasing the smell of that dirty milk you drink. It spreads throughout the Arctic. You can pinpoint it with the strength of a blizzard. I could growl. I could scream out to you and tell you I'm here and I'm hungry, but you already know that. The same way you know the ice is no longer with me, even if you don't need it to get food. I'm always out here, even if I don't come near your door. I'm hungry. Why don't you break that stupid rule of yours once and for all? What prevents you from doing it? Do you want to be the upstanding human in this desert? Old man who fires his shotgun? I'm hungry. There's a whip lashing every part of my body. Why don't you offer me at least some of that dirty milk you drink? What do you say? No? You old drunk.
Bear! It's you again. You must be starving for you to come here knowing I won't offer you anything. I remember the first time you came to see me. growling as if your sound could break down the walls of this station, as if you knew that if you don't cry out, you don't eat. But this time is different. You don't even have the strength to growl. Go away, bear. Yup, why you might. I'm not going to give you anything. Go away and find a place where you can die quietly. There won't be any more springs for you soon. Soon, there won't be any ice left.
Not yet.
That's right. You still owe me a waltz.
We never stopped dancing it. Let me ask you something. When my home is devastated, will yours remain intact? I haven't heard your answer. Did you say something? It seems my hearing has been disconnected. Do you think I'm not close enough, or don't you have an answer? Yes, you do have an answer, but you don't want to tell me. That's not nice, you know.
Don't come any closer.
After so many years together, after so many springs knocking on your door, if she found out you did it once some years ago, but you don't want her to know, do you? So you pretend not to know me. You don't have to worry. Right now, she's out there searching for me. Are you really not going to offer me a cup?
It's over.
Dimitri walks out toward Nanua. Quick blackout, one gunshot. Nanua is on a tiny rectangle of ice. The last white bastion at the back of the stage falls and disappears.
Once again, the sun scratches my back and energy leaves my body. Every time you seem to be arriving earlier and you take my ice with you. A bear only abandons her world when she sees she can't change it.
Okay?
I can't find Nanwa.
Not here.
What do you mean she's not here?
I went to say goodbye to you, but you weren't there. I suppose you went out looking for me with that glass eye of yours. The man who fires the shotgun had prepared that dirty milk that smells so bad. I was hungry. I was blinded. I wanted a little, just a little, but he took out his shotgun and I ran away. I forgot to tell him to say goodbye to you.
The ice is gone. She'll probably look for another place.
What place?
Whatever place she gets to by following her survival instinct. Maybe Wrangel Island?
I have to go to that island.
She has to swim out there. It could take her a week, and most likely she won't even make it.
Nanwa will make it. I know her, and I'll be there.
Film her death?
To finish up my documentary.
Do you think those images are going to change anything? Do you think humanity is going to stop being human?
I think all of this would have been meaningless. I have to finish this.
It's dangerous.
Come with me.
Uncertainty in front of me, just like the next step. caught on this last shard of this temple, a springboard under my feet, waiting for me to jump. I don't need a compass. My pulse is the north, and any direction will lead me to an emergency exit towards it. Woman who is hiding in the horizon, I leave my gaze here for you so you can read it when you come looking for me. Just one wish. Can you be the contrast?
Nanua lunges forward, quick blackout. The sound of the ocean waves lasts a few more seconds.
A window of light.
Distance also protects me.
You mad.
Do your job.
Your reasoning is so strange.
What a white kiteboard.
Your whole left in my lap.
They will come.
Yours is a strange breed.
All white.
Nanua.
Origami.
No nails to hold on.
Have you ever seen the ships?
The smell spreads.
Skirts of the map.
Part of your documentary.
They break up the ice.
Very thin.
Not in people.
You touch.
They draw blood from the world.
It's always been empty.
Uncertainty.
I leave my gaze here upon you.
Light to hold on to.
I leave you my distance.
I leave my distance.
Your gaze also protects me.
Of bear cubs.
Work.
Change blood.
Reasoning of the world.
Touch.
Thin cardboard.
White lap.
Race of nails.
Broken hole.
Smells like a documentary.
The boundaries extend.
Oh, you mad? Origami.
Coffee boats.
Ice nose.
White on Nanua.
Right on Nanua. In a blink of an eye.
The sound of the waves crashing into the land. Nanua, starving, drags herself onto the stage. Seawater drips off her body.
Once again, I've arrived here. Have I arrived? Something in the air tells me that you're here. You've found me once again. Forgive me for not looking for you on the horizon. I don't have much strength left. You know, I think it's time for you to complete your work. I only swam this far for that. Are you ready? Hurry up, prepare your glass eye, and please don't turn this into a melodrama. We both knew it when we met, remember? Now, keep that eye wide open and make sure it doesn't blink, because this time it will not be slow. In my muscles and in the air that enters my chest. It's here. It's here. Soon I will be with my bear cub. Everything will be white again.
Now, I know that every time I'll try to picture you, I'll relive this moment. I was wrong. It's not the image that's worthless. It's the proximity. Having you here and not doing anything to change it. You can't empathize from the other side of the screen. Forgive me. Rest next to your bear cub.
Carla caresses Nanua's back. Nanua turns and knocks Carla down, leaving her pinned under the weight of her body.
What?
Nanua growls with all her
What are you doing? What are you doing? Haven't you listened to a thing I said during all this time? Haven't you learned anything? Tell me. Go on, tell me. Haven't you learned anything? Haven't you forgotten that you mustn't touch me?
Nanua, no! No!
Shotgun blast. Nanua falls dead.
Why did you do it? That wasn't how it was supposed to end. Not like that. Why did you stop it?
Come on! We have to get out of here.
No, it wasn't supposed to be like that.
A window of blinding light, a blurry entrance. The first thing we see when we die, white light, white as the paradise we lost.
Carla her duffel bag and leaves. Dimitri crumbles up the origami figure in his hand, throws it to the ground and leaves.
Take everything I know with you, although once is not enough.
Can I ask all the actors to come back? And I will also would like to invite the playwright and translator, Nani and Iride, and as well the photographer, Michael, if we can have you all join us.
Next, turn on the light in the dining room, please. Okay.
Bravo.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you all so much. It's always a little bit crazy, of course, here in this Zoom world. And audiences, if you have any questions or any remarks, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat, and we will get to them in a little bit as well. Yeah. In this world, in this Zoom world, actors become not just actors, but technicians, designers, stage managers. They got to do it all. So lovely to see this magical realism play coming to life, not just in real on the stage, but actually in this Zoom world. You really did a great job in getting that that magic realism imagery for us, which was lovely. And maybe for the people that are listening that are not aware, the silver lining, I would say, of the ways we have to work at the moment is that we can create a real transatlantic collaboration, because people that you're seeing right now are literally on both sides of the Atlantic, as were the actors, as were the creators, and also the translator and the writer are also transatlantic. So we're going to do a short Q&A. And I'm curious, of course, to hear a little bit of things. We're getting some nice messages already. Nani, I want to start with you. And we have, of course, some translators just in case we need to. But could you share a little bit with everyone here? What was your inspiration for this piece and how did this come about?
Entiendo que me pregunta cuál fue de dónde salió la inspiración para esto, ¿verdad?
Exacto, sí. Sí.
Exacto, ok, vale. Bien, pues la inspiración fue una fotografía que apareció publicada en un periódico y era la fotografía de una osa.
The inspiration was a photograph that he saw of the North Pole, and it showed this bear.
Era una fotografía de una osa que encontraba un pedazo de hielo donde mantenerse y estaba muy, muy, muy delgada, casi al borde de la inanición.
It was a photo of a polar bear on a tiny slither of ice who was extremely thin and about to, die of hunger.
Esa fotografía me impactó mucho emocionalmente y pensé que tenía que tenía que hacer algo a través del teatro para que tomásemos conciencia.
Yes, that photo had a tremendous impact on me, and I knew then that I had to do something with theater in order to speak to this issue.
Wonderful. Yeah, and it's of course we see more and more theater dealing with the climate crisis, which is really lovely, and it's one of the reasons why we were very interested also in taking this on. Iride, you with Estreno translated the piece, and I'm sure that you are coming across many Spanish contemporary plays. What was your reaction to this? Why this piece that you wanted to translate to English?
Yes, I'm happy you asked that. And you're right, Susan Berardini and I, who's the co-editor of Estreno, we do come across hundreds of plays every year. And it's so interesting when I first read this play, at first, of course, my first reaction was, oh, come on, another play about climate change. And then slowly, as I reread it, I started realizing that it is a play that has so many layers in this play, right? It's a play about climate change, but it's also a play about, as Nani says so beautifully, about contrast. The contrast between gender contrast, racial contrast, different ways the contrast of different perspectives. How do we deal with these issues, right? They're grand, they're immense issues. How do we deal with it? Who's right, who's wrong? The contrast of civilization versus instinct. All of those contrasts are there. And I felt that it was a play that, although Nani, of course, is a Spaniard, but it was a play of universal attraction. It was a play that could be done in China, in Norway, in the United States, anywhere, because it speaks to us and our relationship with the other. How do we deal with the other? And Nani does it not only through theater, but Nani has one other thing, and I hope I tried so hard to capture even just the hints of it in the translation. Nani is a poet. He has one of the most beautiful poetic languages, and it was so difficult for me, Nani, let me tell you, you killed me. It was so difficult to try to capture the incredible nuances of your language. And so maybe that's it. This play is realistic, it's magical, but it's also poetic, right? And so that's why I fell in love with this play.
Wonderful to hear. I'm actually curious also to ask the actors a question, since you guys have been working so much on this now, to think of, I'm going to ask one more question to Nani before this, but think of maybe you guys also have a question for the playwright or the translator. I would be very curious to hear of actors that have been doing this piece now, what questions they would have with regards to the text or with regards to the concept or story. So I'm just gonna give you heads up for that one. But first, Nani, I think I'm pretty positive that this was the first time it was done in English, that the translation was done. So how was it for you to hear your Spanish play in English?
Okay, Nani dice, yo creo que esto será la primera vez que se hace la obra en inglés. Entonces, ¿y cómo fue, cómo te sentiste cuando oíste tu obra ahora hecha en inglés?
Pues la verdad es que es impresionante, ¿no? Es una de las cosas que más me ha impactado, como Penny, Emma y Tony, cómo han llevado los tonos de su voz y cómo le han dado vida a los personajes, ¿no? Y vamos, escucharlo en inglés me ha gustado mucho, pero los tonos de sus voces me ha gustado mucho más.
He said that it's always something that's always so impacting when you hear your play done in another language. And he says, but what he really loved about this is not only hearing the words, but hearing the tones of the actors, their tonality, their gestures. All of this was just so impressive for him. And that's what he loved more than anything else. I think that's a compliment to all the actors.
Yeah, it's great. Absolutely. And I mean, we can only now hope to see it on real life, on stage, of course, in real life. Before I get to one of the actors to ask also what came up for them, or one of the questions, I'm just going to read a couple of things that we're seeing. And please, for people that are listening, don't be afraid to have a question if you have one as well, and write it in the chat. But we're getting a lot of nice love here. Absolutely wonderful work. Mick is saying bravo, bravissime. Susan, Andrea, bravo, bravo. Thanks, you are all. I am very impressed. And Diane actually is also having a suggestion. Great stuff, excellent concept, gave me a lot to think about. One suggestion, the opening scene could be short and sweet and funny, not pour on the tragedy from the very first word. Let it build. Good use of numerous innovations to make the action move. So it's really nice to hear some of these comments and you know what it did to you, because it is, in that sense, like we said, it's the first time that it's done in English in this translation. Yeah. Who would like to ask a question from the actor, or also the director, Beatriz, who is with us as well? I will get to you in a little bit as well, Beatriz. But since the four of you have been really working on this text, on the English text, what were some questions, or what did it do to you, even as a performer? Like, what really grasped you in this piece, and potentially also a question for the translator or the playwright? Who would want to go first?
Let me start, because I have I'm not the actor, but I just want to say, everyone, that I have been bombarding them with questions. So it's like the questions that we have sent them, all of them. Like, we were like, okay, why this? Why? Well, actually, we haven't even asked the same question more than once, because it was like, yes. So, Penny.
I think Beatriz rather pulled me out of retirement in order to do this play. Because
to be a polar bear, no less.
I thought nobody's going to compare. And I really wanted to do it because I think it's an extremely clever piece. She just said to me, here's the play, read it. And you know, when I was reading it, I didn't even think it was about ecology or the environment or anything, because it's so subtle. It's not bashing you on the head. And although, Evan, you say magical realism, I think it's more real. It's more real. And I think the great thing about theatre is that you can put a polar bear on stage in a theatre, and because we're already in this black room, you know, with very peculiar things going on, with our glass of wine in our hand, that we will accept there is a polar bear. So I think, Nani, I want to say to you, I don't want to ask you a question, but I thank you for giving that polar bear the voice, you know, because I know the image that you're talking about. By giving that voice, then you also and make it not just this sort of human two-hander between Carla and Dimitri, however brilliant that might have been, you know. So I just want to say, I love the play, and thank you very much, and I love the translation, and thank you. Sorry, no question.
Nani te quiere agradecer muchísimo por haberle regalado esta obra. Y particularmente, obviamente, el papel de Nanua. le encanta la obra porque dice que no es solamente sobre animales y contraste con humanos, sino que hay algo mucho, mucho más profundo. Y entonces te agradece muchísimo y también nos agradece a todos por haber apostado por esta obra.
I'm totally with Penny with the magic realism thing, because when I heard you say it, I was like, is it? Like, it never even crossed my mind. You know, I was like, yes, but I wouldn't put it there. I wouldn't put it there. I think it's like totally real. It's not like.
But we've been rehearsing for a week, so our brains are a bit.
Yes. And I would like to introduce you to Michael, who's there.
Yes,
who's the only
that.
I think that has been in the actual days so far here.
So exactly.
Because
The imagery that we were seeing behind the actors were all photographs taken by Michael, and which was taken on the actual place where this piece takes place at the North Pole. So Michael, can you maybe share a little bit about that experience?
Please.
Sure, yeah. It was absolutely unforgettable, the experience. And it probably all started because getting there from mainland Norway, we took a Norwegian Coast Guard icebreaker to get there. It took about a day to get to Bear Island from mainland Norway, but there was no ice. And that was the most surprising thing for me, because I was prepared to be on an icebreaker and at least break a little bit of ice. I was disappointed because, I wanted to be on this 100-meter military ship breaking ice going to Bear Island. And that was a very profound experience, talking to the scientists, being on Bear Island for about a week. I was commissioned by a magazine to accompany a journalist to write an article about the scientists that live there for 6 months at a time. Every 6 months, the Norwegian government switches out the scientists that stay at the weather station, and them telling me that, Michael, if you were here in 1995, you would have seen over 400 polar bears on this island. I did the service, the photographic service for the magazine in 2015, and it had been 3 years that they had not seen a polar bear. The polar bears are known to swim for 3, 4, 5 days straight, but with no ice, they would have to swim more than a week, and that's for at this point there hasn't been polar bears on that island for over 3, probably 5 years.
Yeah, wow. And how was it then? Because I think of all of us, you're probably the only one that has had that experience and actually was there. So how was it for you to see that imagery, which I'm sure brings back memories of that place, but then now in this story, in this context?
Well, it's very moving. The emotions that I felt listening to the actors, talk about the issues, not only the climate change, which is also was very clever and very subtle, as the Miss Polar Bear was talking about. the other social issues that I found it to be incredibly exciting, the way everything was just weaved together into an extremely engaging discourse on humanity today. It was incredibly now, and then seeing the images again reminded me of the 3 husky dogs that were so playful and so warm and fun to be around with, and and the chef that was there, the electrician, there was also a psychologist there because they employ a psychologist to be there. You can imagine being on that island, that tiny little island, with only 9 people for 6 months straight. It was very interesting the way the Norwegian government had organized the social situation there.
Wonderful. Yeah, great.
Michael, thank you so much for being so kind and generous with this.
It's my pleasure.
Amazing.
It was fantastic. You guys did a great job, really. It was an amazing performance. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so lovely how this is kind of like a perfect marriage that came together, huh? The imagery and the story and the actors.
Yeah.
Emma and Tony, what did it do for you, or a question that you might have?
Yeah, I think for me, as I said, when I read, like what Penny said, as I read the play, I wasn't sure that it was about climate change until I got to the end, and I was like, oh wow, it's, you know, it's so subtle. I guess the question I had for the playwright, for me playing Carla, was in the play she is from Guinea, so I wanted to know what was the reason behind using you know, Guinea as her ethnicity. Is there a connection there?
Nani, la actriz quiere saber, porque en la obra se dice que Carla viene de Guyana, y entonces ella quería saber por qué precisamente escogiste ese país y esa etnicidad.
Pues elegí Guinea porque aquí a España vienen muchas personas de Guinea y comparten el idioma porque hablan castellano perfectamente.
Okay.
Entonces, para mí era...
So he chose Guinea because in Spain, many people, immigrants who go to Spain are from Guinea, and also because they speak Castilian very, very well.
Y bueno, era lo que me apetecía. Oye, además es que, a ver, aquí ya hay una explicación más racial, si quieres, pero en el teatro español casi todos los personajes son blancos y es algo que no me explicaba. Entonces yo quise hacerlo aposta, que viniese de Guinea y su piel no fuese blanca.
Yeah, he says he explains a lot about why he did this more in the play. I mean, it's there, but he says one of the reasons is that so many of the actors and the characters in Spanish theater are white, and he wanted to know why exactly was that, and so he thought it was it was important to make this character black.
For me as a Spanish playwright, that came as a realization to me. Like, I can write a character that's not white, and that, imagine how white the whole country is, that you think, oh wait, I can do this. You know, and then I felt this is my responsibility now. Because it's like no one is stopping me from doing this, so why aren't I doing this? So I'm thinking that's the same feeling. And then I started introducing everyone in my place, because it's like, why wasn't I doing that? Like, there was no reason. But because Spain is like, seriously, white everywhere. Well, I don't know if we're white, but whatever we are, it's like homogeneously whatever we are. You know, it's like we are white or something. Yeah, it's surprising for people.
And that was, of course, I mean, that line struck for me so much when the polar bear is talking about the skin color and you know, did they take off a layer of
that was so clever.
It's that's a very, very powerful moment, or a powerful sentence, very much. Tony, for you on this side of the Atlantic.
Me, it's multi-layered. It's a very powerful message. I think the biggest challenge was because all the questions I had, we communicated to both of them, So we discussed and everything, but the poetic side of it, it is the challenge to connect to it, to make it real, because you could easily go into theatricality, which is not so, so to speak, maybe doing too much or overdoing in terms of that. And yet it's because the dealing with each other, we have it, we understand it. When you, at least when I read it, I understood immediately what he's talking about. And it's at least in general, because there is so much to it. But he said it himself, finding different nuances of the voice, and not only of the external voice of how we communicate with each other, but the inner voice, the inner thoughts of what really is going on. And today I made an attempt to, portray as much as possible of that kind of different colors and shades, that this character is not, meaning Dimitri is not one-dimensional, but he cares about stuff. He can get emotional. He can be a child. He can be a brute. He can be hurt. He can be like all of these different things. So I tried to play with that, almost like a symphony of different kinds of sounds and tones and colors of those sounds. I connected it to the blue bird in some way, in many ways, actually, for me, with Maurice Maeterlinck, of that magic realism aspect of it, or fantastic realism, however you want to say it. And I think this is going to be an incredible production to see full on, with having the full freedom of all of this, being in the space, communicating, having the energy, being fed by the energy of the people, the emptiness and the connectedness. The really difficult thing is to really connect. And yet when people connect with such a sensitive subject, they on purpose want to disconnect, because we become uncomfortable that something hits us. This is happening in front of our eyes. We see a lot of things, but what do we do about it? And there's so many lines that are, for me, epic, that I say, do you think humanity is going to stop being human? One time is not enough. You got to dedicate your life, 60, 70 years of your life. And even then, maybe it's going to be just a slight difference. And look what Michael has done and generously shared his incredible photographs with us. If he hadn't been there, which could have risked his life, I can only imagine, it's like what that is in there. We see this, a sense of it. We get a sense of it. But if we don't get a sense of it, and if we don't have Luís writing this to share it to as many people as we can, how would we know? And then what do we make of it for ourselves? What is real? To what extent is it real? Mm-hmm. And what do we make with the rest of it, that we may be questioned if it is real, on every level, and and from every aspect. So I think for now that's
right. No, it's great.
That's what I wanted to say. Bravo.
Very well said. I think also you're bringing up 2 points for me that I think what is so lovely is that the piece itself, we've been talking about it already, and I am going to wrap up now because I am aware that we've been on this session for a long time now. But I think that you're bringing up 2 points. One is, of course, yes, the nuance also in the language, which of course is kind of interesting because that might be somewhat different in Spanish versus English also. And I think this is one of the reasons why Origin Theatre Company is always very excited to bring in non-English language work as well, translated obviously. And then the other part is that the piece itself is talking so much about different sides of humanness coming together, and then humanness, also the animal world in that. And that because of the current pandemic, we are now also, like I said at the beginning, able to connect all of a sudden transatlantic, which would have been much harder to do just even from funding point of view. We wouldn't be able to get all these people here.
Get us money, Erwin, get us money.
So it's been really lovely to see this project come to life and to do it in that way, transatlantic as well. we can't wait to see the full production from Susan. So basically, I just want to thank you all so much. We do have to kind of come to an end in this session. Thank you all, Penny, Emma, Tony, for a lovely performance. Beatriz, Luís, Iride, for bringing it here, and Michael for your images, and Zach, of course, also stage manager on the backside, making sure that this technically is all working as well. So thank you all so much.
Zach, lots of work there.
Lots of work.
For joining us for European Month of Culture, and thank you all at home for watching and listening. We have tomorrow another one coming up from Greece, What Reality? So that's also really lovely to see tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And then our final reading will be Monday evening by a playwright from Lithuania, Brooklyn called. So for all details, please go to www.origintheatre.org. And thank you all again, and hopefully we'll see you in real life soon.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Love you.
Thank you, Nani. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. You're amazing, and this is awesome.